everybody. It's great to be with you. I'm going to give it a few minutes for some people to come on, and I'm going to make this one, I promise you, short because we have to admit this is one of the most beautiful fall days in Michigan. Is this not the reason we love to be here? I mean, when you looked at the trees this afternoon, when you looked at the beautiful weather that certainly didn't seem like October, it's just a wonderful day. And I want to let you all be able to enjoy this evening and not be sitting in front of a computer screen. Maybe you're looking on your phone sitting outside. I'm not. I'm in my office. So I want to get outside too. But I wanted to join you for a few minutes. I wanted to give you a little weekly update. Tomorrow night is going to be the big night. Tomorrow night will be the challenge. It is going to be the call to action that is one of the most important that we've ever had. And I need you to share this information with those that are friends, family, and people in your community, your county and area, because there are some specific tasks that we need to accomplish together. The reason that I mention this is I am working with specifically with a bunch of people that are around the state, leadership, and other organizations. They are depending on us in a lot of ways right now. We have the best, the biggest, the most effective grassroots movement in this state's maybe history, but certainly in a very, very long time. Every time we've called, you have answered. And I wanted to just review a little bit of that. You'll notice I've got some banners going on the bottom. And the first one is Together We Became Stand Up Michigan. I want to reflect on that because Thursday we had an event at the Capitol. And that was for Stand Up Churches, We the People. Those of you that were there, go ahead and comment that what that was like for you today. But I got to tell you that it was a terrific event. It showcased so much. It was an incredible day again. God gave us incredible weather. We had the leadership Speaker of the House, Lee Chatfield, and Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey, along with 7 incredible pastors from around the state. It was a terrific event. The choir, the battle hymn choir was absolutely terrific. We had a children's choir, and again, you couldn't have a better setting. I mean, how could you? It's a beautiful building, and it was a great opportunity. We did an interview. I think some of you might have seen it on our page. Detroit News did a terrific article about the event and also the events that had transpired with the governor on that day. And that was part of the reason that we kind of did not get on and do a bunch of live last night, is we wanted to let that settle down. But the governor is now raising money off of that issue. She's blaming everyone from the Republicans and grassroots groups to the president, obviously, and it's craziness. So we're going to get back at the business of the people. But again, at that event, it was incredible. And only 1 week before, obviously, we turned in those amazing signatures to the Secretary of State. So I wanted to give you an update. But we have Together We Became Stand Up Michigan. Let's just go back for a minute. Those of you that were joined way back in April when it was Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine, when we were nothing but a group of people trying to find each other and trying to share stories of what we were going through, and we didn't understand what we were challenged with. That was an amazing time for those several weeks. And then, as you know, Facebook took us down, entirely eliminated all of the connections that you had with each other. When that happened, you would think that meant we were finished. You would think there's no way we're going to find each other again. And there certainly isn't any way we're going to accomplish what it is we've accomplished. And despite that, within 48 hours, because of a group of people that didn't know each other, who got together and created a brand, thought about long strategies, thought about a real vision and mission statement. And, we wanted to reclaim and defend the rights of and liberties of we the people of Michigan. And we wanted to have a mission to equip and empower we the people to be the solution, not the government. And our strategy was to care about us wherever people are and to inform all of you and to inform each other, because we knew we couldn't depend on the media for that. And then finally, to activate us to be a part of the solution. And we've done exactly that. Now, we've only done that and been able to accomplish that because you've answered the call. So we opened a website, as you know, like 48 hours after we were shut down. And we then started a page. And now, as you know, that's grown to 100,000, 112,000, I think was the last I saw. Those are the people that are following, and that's with censorship, as you can imagine. We have the Facebook group then that was started, and our goal was always one thing, also, was to repeal the 1945 law. We worked and looked for an organization, which we found Unlock Michigan, the campaign, and we told them that we had the grassroots that would do the work. If they could get the organization put together and provide the finances to get the printing done and do the mailing, that we would get it done. As you know, we searched out and said, if we can get 20,000 people to do a survey, we believed we could get 20,000 people to circulate. Now, that was a big stretch. Our goal was probably more like 10,000. Again, 10,000. And if each of the people got 4 or 5 sheets done, we'd be a long way towards our goal, wouldn't we? Not even did I have an idea that we would get 60,000 individual citizen circulators that would make happen what happened. One impossibility after another. And so as I look at this, I think, what has happened now? Together, we have now accomplished amazing things together. We started a group out of nothing that found each other and solved each other's, when I say problems, we helped each other through the situation. We found each other in a cause like the Unlock Michigan campaign. And over a period of 80 days, we did something that no one thought we could do. I just want to go through the barriers with you. So we were told that we probably would never get this many people to help. We'd be lucky to get several thousand. And then we'd have to train the people. And that's a mess. So we were told strategically from around the country with political strategists that it really has never been done. If it has been tried, it has been a flaming failure. It usually costs so much more money and a waste of money because they mail these out and they don't get done. And then if they finally do get around to getting them signed up and circulated, they return them and they have a huge amount of failure rate because they couldn't follow the directions. So those were all the battles that I personally dealt with from different people that said, this is going to be tough. The real test is going to be when these start coming back in and we check. And yet I honestly had faith in you all along. I really did. The video was terrific that was done to explain it. And we did lives to continue to correct and answer questions along the way. But you guys did it. You did some amazing, amazing things. And in a matter of 80 days, as you know, we blew past 539,384 signatures, turned in a week ago Friday. Now, when that happened, we anticipated, I just want you to go with me here now. We anticipated after all of these things and the amazing day that we had, that we were going to have to probably go through this election and fight with the Secretary of State to be able to repeal this law in order to have all of these executive orders go away. Right? That's what we thought as of noon Friday. Now, by 5 o'clock Friday, we heard there was a Supreme Court decision, and that decision was an amazing decision. Amazing decision in that nobody knew when they ruled whether or not they would rule in our favor. And we'd said all along, we don't know whether or not they would follow this and give us that they would act on the 45 law. We didn't know what they would act on the 76 law. And I just want to cover that just quickly again with you. They ruled 7-0 on the 76 law that she could not go forward and that every executive order she had no authority to do after April 30th. They also ruled the 1945 law as being unilaterally unconstitutional in its entirety because it did not take into consideration the separation of powers, meaning that she could not unilaterally do anything under that law and no one else could again. I want to clarify a couple things with that. Number one, that is what this court said. This court was 4-3 in that decision. Now, as you know, we have an election coming up in 23 days. And on the 3rd of November, there are 2 Supreme Court justices that are up. One of them was one of the people who wrote the opinion in our favor, Justice Markman, who is aged out and retiring. So having said that, understand that means that he will no longer be there in January. There is an open seat. Secondly, McCormick was someone who voted against us and in favor of the governor's unilateral actions and would have left the 1945 law in place as long as she saw fit. And I guess the separation of powers just wasn't that important to her. But they were saying as long as the law is in place, What that tells us is, and is continued with David Kallman, with Professor Wagner, is the law has to be repealed. Nothing has changed in our goal, because whether a Supreme Court changes, whether a governor changes, as we've always said, Republican or Democrat, they may very well use this law in the future, and the court may very well rule differently. Normally, we would say precedent is in place. It now says it's unconstitutional. That, of course, would be used. But if indeed it was for a different purpose, or if indeed there was some other extenuating circumstances in the minds of a lower court or this court, or I should say another Supreme Court, they could very well overrule this reaction in regards to this law. So it has to be repealed. This means that, as we mentioned before, and in regards to many other executive orders and what is happening with the health department currently, we have to have a Supreme Court in place that is going to defend the rule of law, is going to keep the checks and balances. They are the ultimate authority when it comes to the laws of the state of Michigan. We, the people, are standing up. They are hearing us. So let's move to the Secretary of State. We have to have her do what? We have to have her verify the signatures. One of her department people under a federal case had spoke in that case and said that in an initiative, it should be able to be done in 60 days. We are holding them to that. We had mentioned that last week, and a letter has been sent to the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, requesting that this be done within a 60-day time frame, and we would really like to know her intentions immediately. Some of you have received, if you help circulate, an email that asked for you to send an email to Jocelyn Benson's office in regards to the fact that we want her to verify these signatures so that it can be to the legislature yet this year, because we currently have the votes to repeal that law permanently and remove it from the books. And then all that would be left is the 76 law, which, by the way, is precedent 28 days after April 30th, 7-0. All the justices said, that's it. You have to work with the legislature. That is what was determined during that law. So I want to let you know again, you talk about the power of we the people. You people sent almost 4,000 emails to the Secretary of State's office. It has been acknowledged, or we have record, that there has been received between 3,500 and 4,000 emails requesting that she verify these signatures for we the people who did all of this work. So you continue to be the solution, just like when we did the Unmask Our Students, athletes. We received over 13,000 emails from just our Stand Up Michigan and Unlock Michigan groups, people or individuals that sent those emails, adding your name to those letters, and they were delivered to the governor as well. This is an amazing group of people. The grassroots have to stay together. So we see in the bottom, together we've achieved some amazing things that many thought were impossible. And I've gone through a bunch of those. So going back to Thursday, I got a call while I got there. I think about a half hour after I was there. And the person on the end of the line said, I am with the Freedom Fund. And we are an organization that represents and looks for groups or individuals who have done things for freedom here in Michigan. And I would like to know whether or not you would be willing to accept an award for the month of October on behalf of the Michigan Freedom Fund. And my response to that was, I would be more than happy to accept that award on behalf of the 60,000 individual citizens who did the work. I simply conveyed the message. He said, well, we're in Lansing. Can you schedule a time to come in here? And I said, well, I'm on the Capitol steps getting things ready for the event right now. If you, in any way you could get here, it would be terrific if you could present the award during our Stand Up Churches We the People event. And that is what transpired. You'll be seeing some video of that soon. I just wanted to have an opportunity. I know some of you might have seen it on there, but this is the award. And when it was presented by their group, I immediately just took to the microphone and held this up, as you'll probably see, and said, this is your award. This is not my award. It has nothing to do with me individually, but it does show. And they also gave me this beautiful, incredible coin that is from the Michigan Freedom Fund, and it says Freedom fighters. This is you. A few short months ago, we didn't even exist. We didn't have any voice in Lansing. We had no voice in leadership. And now we're being told that we are the key to the future. And a lot of the things that are transpiring and decisions that are being made, we have either pushed the envelope. As you know, and I'm sure a lot of you remember, the Senate and the House were going to go along with another extension the end of April. It was only because of thousands of emails and the pressure that we put on from we the people that they got the strength to stand up and say no. That's the reason we got to where we did as quickly as we have. You cannot discredit what it is that you've accomplished or the impossible things. And I hope that you could, I just wish and I hope that you can somehow understand how we're being seen around the country. Tammy and Megan went to Texas and spoke on the Capitol steps in Austin this past weekend because they're experts in their field, but they also can entirely know you should hear the cheering when they said that she was representing and the director of Stand Up Michigan. We are absolutely known all across the country. I have a radio station, a large one with syndication all through the Northern California that's gotten a hold of me this last week, wants me on the radio there. We have states from all over the country that want to start a Stand Up their state. And I'm telling them right now, we've got work to do. We will be able to help you with this, but we have got work to finish here. We have now got only 23 days, right, until this election on November 3rd. If we could struggle through the month of March, not knowing what the disease could bring or how many deaths it could cause or what the ultimate price would cost us both in lives and in our business and economy. We've seen what it's done to our economy. I think unwarranted in a lot of ways, as you, I know, agree. At the same time, together, we were able to find that it isn't as dangerous as we thought. We are returning to some extent to more normal. And I wanted to share with you a few things. There are going to be some links we're going to be providing you as well. As you know, some of those cannot be put on this platform, on the Facebook platform. It is very likely going to be through our website, some links. We're going to do a bubble pop-up that's going to allow you to add your name to our email list. It is growing. I think it's over 70,000, 60 to 70,000 on our current email list. If you want to be included in that, where we can send you separate videos of information that we can't share on these platforms, please add your name and go there starting tomorrow. That blip will be up tomorrow before my tomorrow evening live. The calls to action will come tomorrow. So this is just a teaser about that, to please join and add your name, because we need your help. When we say one more time, it's going to be several things, several areas you can help. Some very easy, some will take a little more work. But with what you've done on the Unlock campaign, I have no doubt whatsoever that we're going to be able to accomplish it. We're going to be looking for between 3,000 and 5,000 people. Now, we had 20,000 do a survey. We had 60,000 be willing to circulate. We had 13,000 sign on to letters for the Unmasked for Athletes campaign for Lana Tice. We need about 5,000 of you total to work in your own counties. We're going to focus you on the areas that we need help, and I'm going to explain those three areas. But remember, we talked about the Supreme Court. We also have to do what? We have to maintain the House of Representatives. We have a 3-seat. The Republicans have a 3-seat majority. When I say we, it means we have the votes currently with the people that are sitting in those chairs right now. When we get a new group of people, now here is my question, and this is going to be the challenge. If you have a Democrat and a Republican in your district, I want you to be asking both of them if they'll vote to repeal the 1945 law. After all, the Supreme Court has now determined that it's unconstitutional. What lawmaker is going to vote against repealing or eliminating or abolishing a law that is considered unconstitutional? If they are, they should not be running for office. They have absolutely no business being there, number one, if they don't believe they should have a say and that a governor should have unilateral control over we the people. Secondly, if it's already been considered unconstitutional, it should be a unanimous vote, and we should be repealing that law, abolishing that law, so that forever it is gone and we can begin to move forward. I will also be touching on in giving you links to some terrific stuff from the Great Lakes Justice Center. It is some links to a lot of questions and answers about the new pivoted mandates. So let's just talk about the governor for just a second. I know we don't want to talk about her, but we have to. She has literally, in the face of one defeat after the other, she has pivoted and tried something else. She is down to her last arrow in her quiver. It's not a strong arrow. It will be defeated. But if we didn't have victory 1, if we didn't have victory 2, if we hold the House, we have victory 3. If we get the signatures and we abolish the law, that's another great success that we would have. And this move that she's made, utilizing yet another arm of the executive branch, will also be deemed unconstitutional in a lot of its mandates, more so in a lot of its enforcement capability. There is some great question and answers I will be providing there. I did want to give you a couple of very minor things. Just again, we all know as individuals, you have choices to make. Businesses can always choose to decide whether they want you to do this when you come in or they don't. You have a choice whether to shop there or not. School systems have the ability to choose what they want to follow, especially in the private school areas. And as you know, a lot of businesses right now have pretty well had it. If everyone was to decide to stand up and open up and do what we mentioned back then, there won't be any enforcement because it's impossible. Correct? We need to do what we can to be safe, but we can also trust the Michigan citizens and trust us to do the right thing. And we know that we can, and we know that we will. One thing I wanted to mention is that the requirement for this is actually not as strong as the previous one, meaning that an individual's verbal representation that they are not going to be able to do this falls within the specific exception. Remember, she tightened down on that before. That is basically gone again, which means you may notice as you begin saying, I can't, and continue to walk, that you're left alone or said, okay. So I think that is where it's at. But don't let this bother you and destroy all that we've done, because that time will be coming and going very soon. I know that you're frustrated. I know that you're weary at times, and I understand that. But I also know that again, I'm just switching this together. We have to focus on the goal. We cannot focus on the obstacles that we continue to have put before us. Each obstacle that we get, honestly, is a lower and a lower bar. The first one was just drawing in a group enough people to have a voice. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves. Secondly, it was accomplishing a monumental task that no one thought we could do in a time frame that was thought was impossible, with a quality that was said to be impossible, and we did all of the above. And now we had a Supreme Court that stood up for the rule of law. It stood up for the checks and balances. And we have a legislature, whether you understand or know or not, they are doing what they can. They are fighting every way they can, but they are limited to the rule of law. They cannot encourage anyone for breaking the law, because unlike some others in the legislature, they actually follow the law. They actually do follow the Constitution. And we cannot be like them. We have to follow it, and we have to get the determination, and that's what we're going to do. In addition to that, as you probably know, people say, why aren't there are people suing already that these are illegal and whatever. And it is explained in this, but you have to have basically a standard. You have to basically have someone who is charged under this new. You have to have somebody who is fined or shut down or threatened with their license. When those things happen, now think about me with this for just a second. David Coleman and the Great Lakes Justice Center represented Carl the barber. Carl never closed his business, did he? He continued to fight through the court systems, and he kept open cutting hair. That was while the executive orders were in place. It was while the 1945 law was still not determined anything. Does that tell you what is the likelihood? And by the way, he won 7-0. And he's still cutting hair. And he still follows his, hey, if you want to, you can. If you don't, that's fine too. What I am saying is, if we stand up, we will be victorious. If we consent and we give up and we get weary and we don't follow through with what we've started, then all we have done is let someone else win because they had more perseverance than we did. And that's impossible. You are not just fighting for you. One of the things that I said from the Capitol steps again is we have a choice to make. We can either sit back and see what happens, let this play out, or we can continue to stand up. I'm tired, honestly, personally, of playing defense. I believe that it's time for us to proclaim victory, to share the victories and the rule of law with the people around us, let people understand. And again, those that decide for their own rights, their own persons, their own businesses, that they feel safer and they want to do something for themselves, then you have a decision whether you choose to shop or eat there. I use the example. If somebody went from a steak restaurant to all Mexican and I'm looking for a steak, I'm not going to complain that they switched for very long. I'm going to go to a steak restaurant. It's the same situation and opportunity that we have. It isn't just that big of a deal. Okay. Secondly, we're not doing this. This election isn't about us individually. It's not just about this. This is about your kids and your grandkids, my kids and my grandkids. It's about the next generation. It's about preserving everything for the people who sacrificed before us for our freedoms and our liberties. And thank God again, our Supreme Court stood up for us. So tomorrow evening, I'm going to be doing the call to action. I want you to enjoy this evening. I want you to refocus. I want you to claim the victory. I want you to look at what all it is that you've accomplished and we have accomplished together. I want you to share comments on here of how this changed you as an individual, how it has made you stronger, how it has let your kids see a civic lessons they may not have ever seen if we hadn't gone through what we've gone through. And then tomorrow, the call to action is going to be real. There will be links. And I'm saying we literally are organized. We will have a plan forward for the 2 or 3 areas that we need to be successful. If you follow through with this, and believe me, there are still people believing, I don't know if we can get this many people to help. And I'm saying, you just wait. You're going to have more people than we need to help. We need election day operations. We need poll watchers and we need poll challengers. We need people credentialed. We're going to give you an opportunity to have all of that done directly through links that we're going to provide. We're going to help with name recognition in the Supreme Court races, and we are going to work to help in those House races that will maintain the House for us for the legislative future, and also to make sure we get the votes in place to repeal the 1945 law. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you. You know from what we have said how much we value your opinions and your energy. We feed off your energy, and I would ask you to feed each other with positive energy with comments on this post. Share this video today and tomorrow with other like-minded people. Ask them to join the live tomorrow night. Join the Facebook page. I'm simulcasting this on the group. I'm simulcasting this on our YouTube channel. They can subscribe for free. And the links will be directly off of this tomorrow. It will go from our website directly for you to be added to our email list, and you'll be able to sign up immediately, and then we'll reach out to you from there. Again, I thank you for your time this evening. I have held it under 30 minutes, and I'm going to continue hopefully tomorrow to be somewhere in that same vicinity, though I might stay a little longer because we're going to ask you to do this as a true call to action, and we're going to build those numbers online together tomorrow for ultimate and victory that is going to be ours for both now and in the future. Remember, November 3rd is only 23 days away. It's 23 days to pure and utter victory, because that will set the stage for everything that follows. Have a great evening. We love you all. We'll talk to you tomorrow night at 7.